Paulo Brands, Clear to Close Brokers. Hey, I wanted to share with you a little bit more about prospecting and what I believe really separates people from being great prospectors to not great prospectors. So let's start with strategy. We all have the same strategy. In fact, any script that you pretty much can Google and download, they're all going to be relatively the same thing. Maybe a little bit of variances, maybe some are a little bit better than others, but they're all going to be the same thing. And let me ask you a question. If they're all the same scripts, why do some people have such great success while others don't? Right? Let's think about that for a second. And I think what it really comes down to, in fact, I know what it comes down to, is there's two other pieces that we never explore when we're starting prospecting or if we're struggling with the prospecting. And that is going to be two things really important. It's going to be your story that you tell yourself about prospecting, which we're going to talk about that in a different video. But in this video, we're going to focus 100% on your state because I'm going to tell you something. 100%. I believe this out trumps a great script. You can have the worst script in the world, but if your state is in line with who you are and they feel it on the other end, you are going to get appointments. So 100% of the success from a great prospector depends on the person that you decide to bring to the table during prospecting hour. What do I mean by that? Well, let me paint a picture here. So I'm going to see if I can bring a picture up here of my daughter Jordan. I want to share a little story about my daughter Jordan. Right? So when she was about 5 or 6, I would go pick her up from her mom's house, and it was like my favorite thing in the world, you guys. She was so beautiful. She still is beautiful, by the way. Right? But this I'll never forget. It was Friday. I'd pull up, and there was this long hallway where she would just be waiting for me what seemed like all day. And then when she would see my car pull up, I'd look out the window, she would literally just start running for me. Right? It was the greatest. It just melted every piece of my heart. And then I'd get out of the car and I'd start running for her. And then we'd embrace each other, hug. Then we'd make these Popeye faces, maybe do some, puppets or whatever, and just be totally silly, right? It was just absolutely silly. It was absolutely wonderful. One of the greatest times of my life, right? Now let's fast forward, or let's back up a little bit. I'm a football player. I'm a football coach, and I absolutely adore and love football for many, many reasons. And there's this one time that we were playing this huge rivalry game. It was the best game ever. I can still remember it on the field right before kickoff. My blood is pumping. My certainty is high. I mean, my everything. I'm in just like this state that is insane, right? Can you imagine that? Have you ever been there? If you played football, you know exactly what I feel. But if you played other sports and you have that game face ready to go, you know how that feels. All right, let's take a step back. Let's have a little fun with this, right? What if I took that person that was hugging my daughter and slipped that person into my football gear, ready for kickoff, making silly faces, hugging and playing dolls with my hands? Would that work, and would that be appropriate? Would I be a really successful football player? Or let's vice versa the other way. Let's say Jordan came running out to me all happy, and at the other side she saw this dad that was all fired up and just ready to go, right? That may kind of ruin the moment. It may not be such a great thing, right? So here's my point. Same person, Paul, both. Same great moments. I loved them both equally, but I brought different people to each circumstance. My daughter, I brought a loving father. I was very soft. My shoulders were down, just pure love. On the other one, shoulders up, just ready to go and ready to, go to war, right? That's what we do. So why is it any different with prospecting, right? What is your body language? What person do you bring to the prospecting table? Are you going to bring like Eeyore to the prospecting table? Or are you going to bring someone that's super confident? Remember the 3 C's: confident, consistent, and calm. I encourage you to really look at your state when you're making these calls. If I did the video like this, would that be very impactful? Or if I'm standing straight up, smiling and looking straight at you, which one's more impactful? So there's always a state that we need to be on depending on where we're at. And I also encourage you to look at this in other aspects of your life. I am a different person when I'm with Danielle than I'm with my kids, than when I'm at work, when I'm at the gym. And it's okay to be different, right? Because each thing requires a different emotion, a different mindset. And I want to be great at them all. And so when you start prospecting, let's start taking note of what your state is. And if you need to get your state up, do some exercise, play your favorite song, do whatever it takes to get you that certainty. Because my friends, that is what's going to make you successful in the prospecting arena. State. All right, you guys, Paul Obrant's Clear to Close Brokers. Let's do this.